Hi, how are you today? The improved package has arrived. We're having it fitted in time for FP1. Have a look at the factory report.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of our F1 2017 career mode. This time it is the Mexican Grand Prix and we start off with a chassis upgrade, I think that was, and a sponsor bonus to add to that, which is absolutely amazing. Well, not amazing, it is pretty great. Although in hindsight, I don't know why we're getting chassis upgrades when literally the last 3 races on the calendar all are pretty power dependent. But yeah, what can I do now? But anyway, here's the championship. In case you were wondering, we are in P8 and we are in with a shout of jumping Felipe Massa if we do get a good result here. But here we go for our first run in Q1 on the ultra soft tyres. Sebastian Vettel is currently in P1 on the super soft, so we are going for a different strategy to him, clearly. Ricardo is currently P1 as we set our lap time, and that puts us P6, and we managed to get through to Q2 on one of the most power dependent tracks on the calendar, which is very interesting. Our teammate Fernando Alonso unfortunately doesn't make the cut, so it's only going to be us, the one McLaren, representing the boys from Woking in Q2. So here we go for our lap. This massive front straight will be a massive weak point for us. However, we are running some very low wings. I think we're running something like 3.3 in comparison to the AI running 6.6 all the time. So maybe we might be able to put up a little bit of a fight. But there's that sector 2. With all the S's and the final sector through the stadium. Those are basically our main points of making up any time at all on this lap. So here we go, coming through this sweeping final corner, a bit of a short run up to the line, and it's P5, and I think that's 1.4 seconds off the top, and that allows us to sneak through to Q2 and to Q3, sorry. And I say sneak because we do it by just under a tenth from Carlos Sainz. So we are into Q3 for one of the only times this season. I think I can't really recall any other times that we've been into Q3, which is pretty sad to be honest. But here we go. Coming towards the end of our one and only lap in Q3, we decide to put it in very late. As you can see, the checkered flag is already out for the session, and we are the only car not to set a lap time yet. It is all or nothing. This is our only chance to make a good impression, and I think that's P7. Yes, we qualify P7, and that is actually a pretty decent position. We are in front of Daniel Ricciardo. Oh no, we are in front of Sergio Perez, Esteban Ocon, and Romain Grosjean, and behind basically the front runners. So yeah, we actually could be in with a shout of a decent result here.
See if you can achieve 13th or better.
Well, that doesn't really help our confidence if Jeff only thinks that we can get P13 from P4 on the grid. But here we are on the grid for the Mexican Grand Prix. We have been promoted to P4 from P7 because quite a few of the guys in front of us, including Sebastian Vettel and Kimi Räikkönen, I think, have received grid penalties and will be starting way down the order. So this is a very good chance for us. So we build up the lights to 5 red lights, and it is lights out and away we go for the Mexican Grand Prix. Lights on for an age there, and immediately we will be trying to get into the slipstream of all the guys in front of us, because as you know, the Honda power unit isn't good at all in a straight line. So here we go into turn 1. It's just about 3 wide between myself, Daniel Ricciardo, and Lewis Hamilton. We're trying to get a nice sweeping switchback line through turn 3, and we are currently running in the slipstream of Lewis Hamilton, and we'll go very late on the brakes into turn 4. It's side by side between myself and Lewis Hamilton. We're going to try and keep it around his outside at turn 5, I think that is, but we will plunge it up his inside at turn 6, and that is a very nice move that promotes us into P2 of the Mexican Grand Prix, and it takes Hamilton an entire lap to kind of retaliate, because as we start lap number 3, Lewis Hamilton will go to our outside down the front straight. You can see we're not actually losing out that much on the Mercedes when it's not in our slipstream. So that is actually pretty confidence inspiring. As we go side by side with Lewis Hamilton whilst I'm having a talk about confidence. But we do manage to fend off the current 4-time world champion, and we do kind of squeeze him off. That's a bit of dirty driving. As we go into turn 4, we go very deep, and that allows us to keep the position. So we are still in P2, and we are really outperforming this car at the moment. We should be down at the fringe end of the points at most, really, around this track. But on lap 4, the DRS has been enabled, and Lewis Hamilton is going to absolutely just part it, like his DRS isn't even open, and he has passed us. We are back in his slipstream. Fake to the outside, then go to the inside with a very late move. We do kind of hop on the curb, but we don't get any warnings for that. So that is all good, and we remain in P2. So that is pretty cool. And Lewis Hamilton will have another go at us on lap 5. There he goes, absolutely just blows past us with the DRS wide open. Can we do anything into turn 1? Unfortunately, we cannot, as Lewis Hamilton was a little bit too far ahead for us to try any audacious move. That would have just resulted in quite a lot of contact. So we have dropped to P3, and on lap 5 or 6, I think this is lap 5. Yep, it's lap 5. Kimi Raikkonen has retired with a mechanical failure, and that will bring out the virtual safety car, and we will actually use this VSC to come into the pits and fit a set of the super soft tyres, I do believe, as we are in search of the two-stop, I think it is, ultra soft, super soft, soft. So yeah, we're going to be on the 2-stop, and we unfortunately the VSC does deactivate a little bit before we are allowed out of the pit lane and off the pit limiter, but it was really small margin, so I guess it won't really affect us that much. On lap 8, quite a lot of the people in front of us have pitted, and then we go. Lewis Hamilton rejoins behind us, so we have really worked the undercut to very good work, because Lewis Hamilton actually did go quite a way up the road after he passed us. So yeah, that is a very nice undercut from ourselves. But on lap 9, Lewis Hamilton is going to be going to our inside. We're squeezing him as much as we can, however he will sweep past us as we run down into turn 1. As we're catching Marcus Ericsson, so maybe he might become an obstacle as we go up the inside of Lewis Hamilton. There's a little bit of contact. We throw up our hand in annoyance, in disgust, but we do manage to retain that position, and we are in effective P2 or 3, I think, but P12 on track at the moment. I think are any people going to be pitting? Yeah, that's Felipe Massa. Who will rejoin behind us as we're squeezing Lewis Hamilton quite a lot to the white line as we run into turn 1. Marcus Ericsson is going to be right on the apex as me and Lewis steam into the corner, and we have to kind of we kind of have to cower out of the corner otherwise we would have hit the back of Marcus Ericsson. But later on in the lap we fake to the inside and then go right around the outside of Marcus Ericsson. That is 2 races in a row we pull off a very nice move around the outside of one Marcus Ericsson. So he is just getting absolutely destroyed by us in races, but it's nice to have someone slower than us once in a while. But here we go on lap 12. Lewis Hamilton does go past us. Unfortunately, we are back in the slipstream, and it does look like we are within range of a cheeky little dive bomb. Here we go up the inside into turn 1. It's side by side, very close. We do have to leave him a little bit of room. However, we do kind of squeeze him out on the exit of turn 3. However, we do run onto the dirt or onto the grass slightly, and that will allow Lewis to catch up coming into turn 4. It is very close and kind of reminiscent of Fernando Alonso versus Lewis Hamilton this season in the actual real life Mexican GP, going side by side through 4 and 5. That was a very good battle, and we do manage to hold onto the position from Lewis Hamilton, but once again he will be coming down the main straight. So it's just a constant bombardment of just straight line speed from Lewis Hamilton and the guys behind us. As you can see, a Red Bull, Ferrari, and another Mercedes as Lewis Hamilton locks up. So he goes straight on, and that is us. Just a free position really, but now Roman Grosjean is actually going to be challenging us down the pit straight. And Daniel Ricciardo will go to the outside to make it 3 wide coming into turn 1. This is actually the thumbnail of the video. I thought I'd point that out, but we do go through the middle of them, and there's a little bit of contact between them on the apex of turn 1. I'm not quite sure who got the damage, but it probably must have been Ricciardo, as he did give Grosjean a hefty hit. But on lap 15 we will be right on the back of Pascal Wehrlein coming into turn 4. We do kind of have a little look to the outside, but then opt for the inside line. We do go kind of deep, but we do manage to get that back. And next up is Fernando Alonso, interestingly. So I think he hasn't made a stop yet, still braving it out on the super soft tyres. But on lap 16 we will peel into the pits for our second stop of the race onto the soft tyres, and we will try and take these 20 laps to the end of the Grand Prix. So although it might seem a little bit daunting to do 20 laps on one tyre, these soft tyres are very, very, very durable. Judging from the runs that I did in practice, so yeah, we should be able to get these to the end relatively easily. And we are currently on lap 2 of the 20 as we are chasing down not Marcus Magnussen, Kevin Magnussen. I kind of forgot his name for a moment there. But we're also coming from under attack from Lewis Hamilton, and he will go to our inside. It's side by side as we run down into turn 1. Magnussen might actually get in the way as we get to the apex, and he does. We have to duck out the corner slightly, but we do retain whatever position we're in from Hamilton. I think we're about P12 or something. There you can see Fernando Alonso just going past us. We very, very aggressively push Lewis Hamilton to the outside. That is very, very interesting driving from us. If that was real life, that would definitely not run. As we are going, I think this is a replay or something. Oh no, this is the next lap as we get past get past Kevin Magnussen. That's a bit of a muck up in the editing, as it shows that clip. But now we are coming under attack from Lewis Hamilton. Once again, we're going to be squeezing into the inside as we usually do. That is Daniel Ricciardo coming out of the pits just in front of us. This could get very interesting. This could be 3 wide into turn 1. We kind of have to force our way through the middle, but we do manage to thread the needle and get in front of both of them. Get in front of Daniel Ricciardo and stay in front of Lewis Hamilton. But on lap 22, we are chasing down our teammate Fernando Alonso for P6. I think this is actually effective P3. So yeah, that is pretty cool. Both McLaren's getting some pretty decent points, but I do think that Fernando does have to pit, unfortunately, so he will definitely not stay anywhere near the points. We do kind of have the sneak peek into turn 4, but of course this is our teammate, so we do need to be extra cautious in case we do anything terrible, maybe hit him. Luckily we haven't actually come together. We haven't actually been battling Fernando all that much this season, apart from a few couple laps in Bahrain, an entire stint in Hungary, and another couple laps back in Austin, so last race. As we go very deep into the stadium section, come right across Lewis Hamilton. That is very, very, very questionable driving from ourselves. But on lap 24, so this is 2 laps later, we're chasing down our teammate. We go to the inside, to the outside, back to the inside, then back to the outside, as we eventually will take it around the outside of our teammate through turn 1. We are being very, very cautious, leaving him a lot of room, maybe a little bit too much room, but luckily we do get a very nice exit, and that promotes us into P3 in this Mexican Grand Prix with 12 laps to go. So we've done 8 laps so far on this tyre, and they're actually putting up pretty decently, so about half of the distance done that we will be doing on these softs, and they are still providing some performance, as Daniel Ricciardo is chasing us down. Well, he will go to the outside coming into turn 1. It's very close, decently close. We do squeeze him slightly. That is probably the only time that we've done that so far this race. However, he does get a much better exit than us, but once again we very aggressively squeeze him to the outside. That would definitely be getting some kind of that would definitely be condemned by the FIA. I'll say that much. But it is working. It is effective, as we are staying in these high positions. Currently battling Valtteri Bottas for P3. He steams past us up our inside coming into turn 1. Not Fernando Alonso. Daniel Ricciardo will go around our outside, and we'll go through the middle of both Bottas and Ricciardo. We do kind of compromise Valtteri Bottas' line as we come across him coming into turn 3. But we do get because of that, we do get back in front of him, and coming into turn 4 we are back on the inside, defending from both Ricciardo and Bottas, and it looks like it's worked. A little bit of an altercation between Bottas and Ricciardo, but we stay in P3. We skip ahead to lap 29 as we get a little bit of a tank slapper coming through the final corner, and that will allow Valtteri Bottas to get a much better run on us. However, we do come across him, and that does force him to close the DRS. I'm not quite sure why the AI just don't reopen the DRS. It is slightly annoying sometimes when you're trying to have a good battle, but hey ho, we probably shouldn't be driving like an absolute idiot. So we do come across Bottas slightly between turn 1 and turn 2, and that does drop him back into the clutches of Romain Grosjean. On to lap 33 now, so we've only got 3 more laps to go on these shot soft tyres. We are weaving slightly as we try to defend from Valtteri Bottas, and then eventually we force him into braking early. We weave once again to the outside racing line for turn 1. So, you know, some very questionable driving, but I do promise you that season 2 my driving is at least 20% better than this. But anyway, I am on a tangent. Valtteri Bottas does go around the outside into turn 4, well, at least tries to, but we cut across him very nicely and regain P3. So we are actually going to get a podium if all goes in our favour. Of course, Ricciardo and Bottas are lining up to take that away from us. We're weaving down the straight again, and that forces Valtteri Bottas to go up our inside. And what would be a career mode video without one of those aggressive switches from the outside to the inside? We pull it off with just 2 laps to go on Valtteri Bottas, and that is us back up into P3. And coming on to the final lap, literally every element of our car is just shot to pieces. Our engine and our tyres, it will be very close close to the margin in terms of tyre wear, because we are very close to that 80% threshold. I think that is kind of like the safe operating area, or like the most risky operating area. But whilst I'm talking about this, we just make a very nice move through the middle of both Bottas and Ricciardo, and now we cut to this very nice helicopter cam, and we will stay with it for most of the lap as we go for another switch from the outside to the inside. We almost go off the track through turn 4, and that allows Valtteri Bottas to go round our outside through 5. It's very aggressive from myself, and Ricciardo barges his way through into P4. This is all coming to a head at the end of the Grand Prix. We're putting off these spectacular switches from the outside to the inside. Ricciardo's barging through. There's contact. We almost run off the road. It's just going crazy at the end of the Grand Prix. We go defensive on Ricciardo as we run down into the stadium section. However, we do cut back to the racing line, and coming through the stadium section for one more time, we kick the back end out for good measure. If we did lose that, I would be absolutely distraught. But coming through the final corner, it will actually be P3 in the Mexican Grand Prix. An absolutely excellent result. there we go, a real roller coaster of a Grand Prix resulting in a very, very long career mode video. Thank you very much for watching this episode of our F1 2017 career mode. I'll be back relatively soon for the Brazilian Grand Prix or any other video before that. But yeah, I've been Elite Crashy. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.
Yeah.